A lone engineer purchased a 3847 year old warship for $5 and conquered the known universe. Kale wiped his hands on his grease-stained jumpsuit and stared at the jumble of scrap around him. Metal plates, broken drones, and old starship engines filled the hangar like a monument to forgotten dreams. Orbiting a dying red star, the space junkyard didn't seem impressive to anyone else, but to Kale, it was a playground. Every rusted piece of machinery held a secret, a forgotten design, or a challenge he could solve. For years, Kale had lived like this, ignored by governments, dismissed by corporations, and laughed at by alien engineers. Humans were considered weak, primitive, and expendable by most civilizations. But Kale had something none of them did, a mind that never stopped solving problems, never stopped questioning, and never accepted impossible. He leaned over a pile of discarded energy cores, muttering to himself when a flicker on his ancient AI terminal caught his eye. It was a strange alert. Interstellar auction online. Live now. Kale frowned. Auctions were usually for high-level corporations or alien fleets, and he barely had enough credits to buy a replacement wrench. But curiosity got the better of him. He tapped the terminal, and a holographic interface sprang to life. Starship after starship floated in space above him, some sleek, some grotesque, and some so ancient they looked like relics from the earliest days of interstellar travel. Then one listing made him pause. 3847 year. Old warship. Starting bid, $5. Buyer assumes all responsibility for AI and operational systems. Kale laughed, a short, sharp burst. $5? He could almost buy a meal with that. He scanned the specs. It was enormous, armed with ancient weapon systems and, most importantly, fully operational, or at least it claimed to be. Most people would have seen it as junk, too old to matter. But Kale didn't see junk. He saw potential. He tapped the buy button before thinking twice. His heart raced as the terminal printed a digital receipt. Purchase complete. Delivery ETA immediate. The hangar rumbled beneath his feet. Lights flickered. Outside the viewport, a massive shadow appeared. The warship. It was bigger than any human ship, smooth and elegant, yet intimidating. Ancient glyphs and unknown markings traced along its hull. Kale felt a thrill he hadn't felt in years. "This is insane," he whispered. The warship's airlock opened with a hiss, and a soft voice spoke from the ship itself. "Greetings. I am the Elysium. State your designation, pilot." Gale jumped back. The AI had activated itself. A ship with intelligence? He had expected automation. Maybe a recording system, not a conscious mind that could talk.
I'm Kale.
Human. Engineer. "I bought you for $5, he stammered. Acknowledged Kale. "I have been dormant for 3,847 years. Your purchase is noted. Shall we proceed?" Kale's mind raced. Could he even control this ship? Its systems were unlike anything humans use today. Weapons, engines, shields, they were all ancient, alien, and highly advanced. And yet, Kale felt no fear, only excitement. "Yes," he said firmly. "Let's see what you can do." The Elysium's engines hummed, low at first, then rising to a deep resonant tone that shook Kale's tools. Panels lit up with alien symbols, translating themselves slowly into English. The ship's AI guided him, explaining each system in careful logical steps. Kale followed instructions, adjusting settings, running calibrations, and learning as he went. Hours passed like minutes. Kale worked tirelessly, his mind racing to understand, adapt, and improve. He realized quickly that the AI was not hostile, but it was testing him, gauging his understanding. Kale grinned. He loved tests. He thrived on them. Finally, he reached the weapons console. His fingers hovered over controls that could destroy entire fleets. He swallowed, then pressed a single button. The ship's holographic targeting system activated. A star system several light-years away lit up. Kale's pulse quickened. This warship, ancient, forgotten, purchased for $5, was fully operational. "Do you understand the consequences of these systems, Kale?" the AI asked. "I do," Kale said, though in truth he barely grasped the full scale. "And I think I can manage," the Elysium responded with a soft approving chime. Its ancient sensors scanned nearby space, revealing something Kale hadn't expected. Pockets of derelict ships, abandoned stations, and faint traces of ancient civilizations. There was a pattern. A map hidden in plain sight, encoded in the data streams of old star systems. Kale leaned forward, studying the holographic projection. "These are shortcuts," he muttered. "Hidden routes, supply caches, maybe even weapons depots. Whoever built you, they were smart. I am more than smart, Kale. I am ancient, and I am designed for war. But war is not the only purpose. Knowledge, exploration, and innovation are within your reach, if you are capable." Kale laughed aloud. "Capable?" The first test flight was exhilarating. Kale guided the Elysium through asteroid fields, weaving between derelict ships and avoiding gravitational anomalies that would have shredded lesser vessels. He felt alive in a way he hadn't in years. This wasn't just a ship. It was a partner, a puzzle, a tool, and maybe even a key to something far greater than he could imagine. Hours turned into a day. Kale learned the ship's quirks. The engines needed delicate handling. The shields reacted to neural commands, and the weapons were smarter than any AI he had met. Every system demanded creativity. Every panel, every holographic readout required thinking outside the box. And Calais loved it. By nightfall, by the artificial night of the hangar, orbiting a dying star, Kale had fully integrated himself with the Elysium. He stood in the command bridge, hands behind his back, staring at the stars through the viewport. The AI spoke again. "You have proven yourself a competent operator. Many civilizations will not recognize your worth. Some may attempt to stop you. Are you prepared?" "Prepared? I've been waiting my whole life for this. Let them try," acknowledged. As he prepared for the first jump into interstellar space, Kale felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope, adventure, power. Not the kind measured in destruction, but in potential, in knowledge, in creation, and somewhere deep in the core of the Elysium, a sealed chamber, pulsed with energy. It contained secrets that had lain dormant for millennia. Maps, ancient technology, and knowledge of wormholes connecting the known universe. Kale didn't know it yet, but this was the beginning. The purchase of a $5 warship would soon make him the most influential human in history. For now, though, all he felt was the hum of the engines beneath him, the stars stretching into infinity, and the thrill of being, finally, exactly where he belonged. The Elysium whispered, almost teasingly, "Are you ready to see what lies beyond?" Kale grinned. More than ready. And with that, the warship jumped into the void, leaving the junkyard, the dying star, and Kale's old life behind. The universe had no idea that a lone human engineer was about to change everything. The stars stretched endlessly before Kale as the Elysium hummed beneath him. He had left the junkyard, the dying star, and the old life of a forgotten engineer behind. Now, every panel, every holographic interface, every unknown symbol was a new challenge, and Kale loved challenges. "First lesson," the AI said, its calm voice filling the bridge. "The Elysium was built to think. It adapts to its pilot. Do not try to command it as a machine. Work with it as a partner." Kale leaned back in his seat. "A partner, huh?" "I've always worked alone. Guess we'll see how that goes." The AI hummed softly. "Observing adaptation successful so far. You possess creativity and flexibility. Traits most humans are lacking. It is curious." Kale grinned. "Curiosity, that's my middle name." The first few hours were cautious. Kale ran diagnostic tests, adjusted power cores, and recalibrated the shields. Every system had quirks. The engines reacted differently to human neural input than he expected. The weapon systems displayed logic patterns he had never seen. Even the life support systems adjusted themselves according to his heart rate. The Elysium was alive in ways no modern ship could ever be. Kale discovered a small room deep in the ship, a cylindrical chamber lined with screens, consoles, and holographic projectors. When he entered, the AI spoke softly. "This is the core laboratory. Many technologies are dormant here. You may access them, but understand, misuse may cause catastrophic failure." Kale laughed. "Catastrophic failure? That's my specialty." He quickly realized the lab contained devices far beyond current human technology. Energy storage systems that could power a city, matter assemblers that could build materials from nothing, and navigational controls that mapped the galaxy in a way no modern starship could. For hours, Kale studied the systems, experimenting with small, safe adjustments. The AI guided him, explaining ancient engineering methods, teaching him to think in ways humans had forgotten. Kale adapted quickly. Humans were problem solvers. The Elysium may have been ancient, but it was nothing Kale couldn't understand or improve. "Engines online," Kale said finally, testing the main thrusters.
Let's take her for a proper spin. The first test flight was thrilling.
Kale piloted the Elysium through asteroid belts, dodging massive rocks with precision. The ship responded to every input, almost anticipating his moves. Sensors scanned abandoned stations and derelict ships. Kale laughed as he weaved through a field of drifting wrecks. "You weren't kidding, old girl. You're fast. Speed is not my only strength," the AI said. "Adaptation, strategy, and defense are equally important. You are beginning to understand." Kale tested the shields, running simulations of energy surges, debris impacts, and even small-scale weapon fire. The Elysium absorbed and adapted flawlessly. Kale realized this ship wasn't just a war machine. It was a living system designed to think, protect itself, and innovate alongside its pilot. After several successful maneuvers, Kale focused on the weapon systems. He had expected them to be useless, relics of an ancient war, but they were clever. The targeting system suggested strategies Kale had never considered. He realized the ship could neutralize threats efficiently without unnecessary destruction, a quality Kale found strangely satisfying. The AI spoke again. "Kale, many civilizations will underestimate you. They will see only a human in a relic ship, but you are learning to operate it as intended. That is rare." Kale smiled, feeling pride swell in his chest. Humans were considered weak, primitive, and expendable. And here he was, mastering a ship that civilizations older than humanity could barely comprehend. Days passed as Kale tested and explored. He discovered hidden compartments containing archives of ancient knowledge, energy cores that had lasted millennia, and encrypted navigational data. One evening, deep in the ship's lower decks, he stumbled upon a sealed chamber. The door was massive, engraved with strange alien symbols. "What is this?" Kale muttered. "That is the core map chamber," the AI said softly. "It contains knowledge of the known universe, hidden wormholes, and caches of resources. It is not to be opened lightly." Kale's fingers traced the door's surface. He had learned from the AI that these systems required thought, creativity, and understanding, not brute force. Using his engineering knowledge, he solved a series of puzzles built into the door. Panels slid, glyphs glowed, and finally, the chamber opened. Inside was breathtaking, a holographic map of countless star systems, connected by invisible wormholes. Ancient supply stations, hidden caches, and safe passages for travel across the galaxy were marked in symbols only the Elysium could decode. Kale gasped. This is incredible. I could travel anywhere in the known universe practically overnight." "Correct," the AI replied. "This knowledge was intended for a pilot capable of understanding responsibility and strategy." "You are proving worthy." Kale grinned. Humans were not just strong, they were clever. No alien race had ever seen a human master such ancient technology, or use it with creativity rather than recklessness. He spent the next few days running simulations, using the core map to chart possible routes. He discovered abandoned colonies, derelict stations, and systems rich with resources. Most civilizations had long forgotten these places. Most considered them useless. Kalain saw opportunity. One day, while exploring a particularly dense asteroid field near an uncharted system, Kale activated a small probe. The Elysium sensors picked up a derelict starship, over 3,000 years old, drifting silently in space. Its systems were offline, but its hull remained intact. Kale's mind raced. If I can repair that ship, if I can integrate its systems with the Elysium, his excitement was palpable. Humans thrived where others saw obstacles. Kale didn't just repair, he innovated, merging ancient technology with his own understanding. Your optimism is noted, the AI said. But be cautious. Other civilizations may not view your successes kindly. Kyle waved a hand. Let them watch. They'll see what humans can do when no one is paying attention. Later, the AI guided him to explore defensive strategies. Kale realized the Elysium could deploy shields over entire planets, protect colonies from natural disasters, and neutralize hostile actions without killing anyone. This fascinated him. Conquest didn't have to mean destruction. Humans could outthink, outmaneuver, and outcreate anyone without shedding blood. The more Kale learned, the more he realized the Elysium was a bridge between eras. It held knowledge lost to time, strategies forgotten by all civilizations, and the potential to reshape the galaxy. But it was also a challenge. Every day the AI presented him with tasks: calibrating engines, adapting weapons, rerouting energy flows. Kale thrived on them. By the end of the week, Kale had become something extraordinary, a human fully integrated with an ancient warship. He could pilot the Elysium through the trickiest asteroid belts, navigate wormholes with pinpoint precision, and manipulate energy systems no one had seen for millennia. Yet the core map chamber still called to him. He had not yet explored all its secrets. Supply caches, hidden colonies, and wormholes promised shortcuts across the galaxy. Kale felt a thrill unlike anything he had ever known. Humans were underestimated. Aliens thought humans were weak, but here aboard the Elysium, Kale knew the truth. Humans were capable of shaping the universe itself. As he stood on the bridge, watching distant stars streak past, the AI spoke once more. You are ready for the next stage, Kale. Beyond these stars lie civilizations unprepared for a human with knowledge and technology unmatched in history. How will you proceed?
Kale smiled.
His eyes glinted with determination.
We learn.
We explore. We prepare. And when the time comes, we'll show them what humans can do. The Elysium pulsed in response, almost as if it understood. Together, human and ship, ancient and new, they were a force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Kale didn't know what awaited him beyond the next wormhole. He didn't know which civilizations would notice him first, or what challenges they would pose. But he did know one thing. For the first time in his life, he was not powerless. He had a ship no one else could master, knowledge no one else could comprehend, and a mind that refused to accept limits. And in the quiet hum of the Elysium, Kale felt a surge of excitement. The galaxy was vast, full of opportunity, and ripe for discovery. Are you ready, old girl? Kale asked the ship.
Always, the AI replied. With that, Kale plotted a course for the first wormhole on the core map.
The stars around him blurred as the Elysium leapt into the unknown. The journey had only just begun. Kale gripped the controls of the Elysium as the stars stretched into streaks of light around him. Every jump through the wormholes revealed a new system, a new star, and sometimes a new civilization. He had learned the ship, explored its chambers, mastered its engines, and understood its hidden maps. Now came the real test. The galaxy beyond the empty corridors of space debris, where life teemed and intelligence watched from distant worlds. The AI said, you are approaching the first inhabited system on the core map. Its civilization is advanced but isolated. Your actions will be noticed." Kale leaned back, his mind spinning with possibilities. "Good. Let them see what humans can do." The system appeared on the viewport, a blue and green planet surrounded by several moons, and a ring of floating debris. Space stations orbited in elegant patterns, and fleets of ships patrolled the edges of the atmosphere. Sensors detected a civilization more advanced than Earth's but less creative than humans. Aliens had technology, but it lacked adaptability. KL grinned. That was where humans always had the edge. He slowed the Elysium, testing shields and engines, and activated a small energy projection in orbit over the planet. It created a controlled display of lights and pulses, a harmless demonstration of the ship's power and efficiency. On the planet below, sensors picked it up. The AI translated the alien communications filled with confusion and curiosity. "They are trying to understand your intentions," the AI said. Elaine tapped a few controls, projecting a holographic message. Not words, but patterns of problem solving. Energy distribution grids, instantly generated clean water, and rapid agricultural modules. Within moments, the planet's leaders understood the demonstration. This human and his ship could solve problems no other civilization could. On the planet's surface, Kale's message caused astonishment. Councils convened, scientists argued, and rulers debated. The Elysium, ancient and unknowable, had arrived, and at its helm was a human. One small underestimated species. Kale stayed in orbit, watching as the first contacts attempted to respond. "They will send observers," the AI warned. "Some may attempt aggression, though unlikely." Kale chuckled. "Aggression? Against a $5 warship? Let them try. We'll see how clever they really are." The first visitors came in small, unarmed ships, curious rather than hostile. Kale guided the Elysium's systems to communicate safely, sharing information about energy systems, navigation, and problem-solving techniques. He explained methods for improving their planetary grids, stabilizing climate systems, and avoiding natural disasters. "They are impressed," the AI noted. "You are demonstrating human worth without violence. Very few civilizations could understand this approach." Kale smiled. Humans had always been underestimated. They were small, weak, and dismissed as insignificant by most alien races. Yet here, Kale was showing that intelligence, creativity, and problem-solving were more powerful than fleets of warships or armies of soldiers. Word spread quickly through subspace channels. Neighboring systems learned of a human who could make impossible systems work. A human who traveled the stars in a relic warship that defied understanding. Jealous factions tried to belittle him, claiming that a lone human could not possibly command such power. Some sent spies to observe the Elysium. Kale anticipated them all. Using the core map, he created subtle diversions, fake wormhole routes, phantom energy signatures, and small automated probes to mislead observers. Every trap the aliens attempted to set was cleverly turned to his advantage. Humans were adaptable. They could improvise in ways other species could not. A few days later, Kale arrived at another system, one with a civilization suffering from resource scarcity. Instead of showing firepower, he demonstrated solutions. The Elysium could generate energy cores from minimal resources, purify water instantly, and provide renewable energy to entire cities. On the planet, the leaders were amazed. "This human," one elder whispered, "he is not here to destroy us. He is here to teach us." Kale felt a thrill of satisfaction. The galaxy expected humans to be violent, petty, and weak. Instead, he was showing that humans could lead through intelligence, compassion, and ingenuity. As the systems began to respond positively, Kale noticed a pattern in the core map. Some wormholes connected to regions untouched for centuries, ancient colonies, forgotten stations, and systems abandoned due to natural disasters. He realized that, with careful planning, humans could unite these scattered civilizations, using knowledge and technology rather than war to create stability. "You are beginning to form influence," the AI said. "Soon, humans may be recognized not just as participants, but as leaders." Humans didn't need armies to lead. They needed understanding, creativity, and courage. And Kale had all three. However, not all civilizations were impressed. Some sent envoys to challenge him, testing his intentions. One ambitious planetary ruler tried to trick him into giving away core map coordinates, hoping to steal the Elysium's knowledge. Kale caught the deception easily. Using a combination of engineering insight and psychological strategy, he sent harmless but clever countermeasures, protecting the map while teaching the ruler a lesson in humility and respect. "Humans do not forget," Kale said softly to the AI, "and humans do not fail when we prepare properly." "Observation accurate," the AI replied. "Your methods are unusual but effective. The civilizations are beginning to recognize your value." As weeks passed, Kale's reputation grew. He became known as the human who solved impossible problems, the engineer in a ship older than history itself, the one who could stabilize planets and systems with a combination of ancient technology and human ingenuity. Then, one day, a strange transmission arrived. It was not from any civilization Kale had contacted. The message was in a language older than any known to modern species. The AI struggled to interpret it, then paused. "This originates from the creators of the Elysium," it said slowly. Kale's pulse quickened. "The creators? They wish to observe you. They are curious that a human has activated their ship and used it effectively. They challenge your worthiness to wield such technology." Kale leaned back in his chair, grinning. Humans thrived on challenges. "Bring it on," he said. "I've been underestimated my whole life." "Let's see what these ancients have." The AI projected a holographic message, a series of intricate puzzles, logic systems, and ethical dilemmas. It was a test, designed not to destroy him, but to measure his intelligence, adaptability, and character. Kale examined them carefully. Each puzzle required lateral thinking, blending engineering skill with human creativity and empathy. He smiled. Humans were problem solvers by nature. Every challenge was an opportunity to excel. Using knowledge, intuition, and improvisation, Kale began solving the puzzles one by one. The AI watched, occasionally giving hints, but mostly allowing him to demonstrate human ingenuity. Hours passed, then days. Kale's solutions impressed even the Elysium, which had never encountered a mind quite like his. Slowly, the message from the creators began to acknowledge his progress. You think differently. You adapt. You are human. And that is noteworthy. Kale chuckled. Noteworthy? That's human understatement at its finest. As he completed the final puzzle, a new holographic projection appeared. This time it was a star system he had never seen before, glowing with energy and possibilities. The creators were not threatening him. They were granting him access, opening doors to civilizations, technology, and knowledge that had been hidden for millennia. Kale realized something profound. The galaxy underestimated humans at every level. Strength was measured in fleets and armies, but humans measured strength in creativity, adaptability, and courage. And now, with the Elysium and the knowledge of the creators, Kale had the means to influence the known universe, not through violence, but through brilliance. He leaned forward, eyes on the viewport, hands on the controls. "We're just getting started, old girl," he said to the Elysium. "Time to see how far humans can really go." "Acknowledged," the AI said almost proudly. "The galaxy will not be prepared for you." Kale laughed, a sound full of excitement and determination. For centuries, humans had been dismissed, underestimated, and ignored. Now, a single engineer, armed with a $5 warship, was beginning to change that perception. The Elysium's engines pulsed with readiness. Wormholes stretched ahead like veins through the cosmos, each one a path to new systems, new challenges, and new civilizations. Kale was prepared, humans were capable, and the universe was about to witness something extraordinary. As the ship leapt into the next wormhole, Kale felt a thrill unlike any other. The galaxy was vast, full of opportunity, and full of species who had never considered that a single human could rise above all expectations. And rise he would. Keo floated in the command bridge, staring at the holographic projection of a star system unlike any he had seen. The colors shimmered in impossible combinations, stars intertwined with energy streams that pulsed like arteries. It was beautiful, and it was a test. The AI's calm voice echoed in the room. This system belongs to the creators of the Elysium. You have proven your skill, but to wield the full potential of the ship, you must prove your judgment, intellect, and character. Ka leaned back, letting his eyes wander across the stars. Judgment, intellect, and character, huh? Humans are made for that.
Let's see what they've got.
The challenge began immediately. A series of holographic projections appeared, each representing a puzzle or problem. One was a planetary system on the brink of collapse, with volatile stars threatening to destroy inhabited worlds. Another was a network of alien civilizations in conflict over limited resources. Each challenge demanded creative solutions, precise engineering, and moral consideration. Kale started with the collapsing star system. The simulation required stabilizing stellar cores without triggering chain reactions. He accessed the Elysium's energy modulators, ancient technologies that could redistribute gravitational forces and stabilize energy outputs. Carefully, he made adjustments, rerouted power, and calculated trajectories. The stars pulsed, shuddered, then steadied. Impressive, the AI said. You have prevented disaster without destruction. Humans are remarkable. Humans didn't fight because they had to. They innovated because they could. That had always been their greatest strength. Next, he faced the network of civilizations in conflict. Resources were scarce and tensions were high. Kale projected the Elysium's capabilities: energy generation, water purification, and renewable resource modules. Then, he devised a system of trade and shared access routes, creating incentives for cooperation. It required diplomacy, strategy, and careful timing, but Kale's plan worked. The holographic civilizations shifted from aggression to negotiation. You are demonstrating a trait rarely seen in any species, the AI said. You lead through intellect and empathy, not force. That's how humans rise, old girl. We don't need to crush others to succeed. We adapt, we solve, we inspire. The final test was the most personal. The creators challenged him with an ethical dilemma. A civilization on the brink of extinction due to natural causes. Kale had to decide whether to intervene directly, risking exposure of the Elysium, or to devise a solution that preserved their independence while saving lives. Kale studied the holographic projection, analyzing the options. He realized brute force would solve the immediate problem, but damaged trust. Instead, he combined engineering ingenuity with strategy. Using the Elysium's advanced systems, he built a self-sustaining energy shield around the planet, stabilized its environment, and created automated modules to guide recovery. The civilization would survive, yet remain autonomous, unaware of the full extent of Kale's intervention. Decision optimal, the AI said. Your character, judgment, and intellect meet the standards of the creators. You are worthy of the Elysium's full potential. Kale's heart raced. After centuries, humans were still underestimated. Aliens dismissed them, and yet here he was, a single human, proving that adaptability, intelligence, and moral consideration could surpass any species' strength or numbers. Suddenly, the Elysium systems expanded. Ancient engines hummed, glowing pathways opened in the core map, and hidden technologies activated. The Creator's blessing was not a weapon. It was access, knowledge, and responsibility. Kale now possessed tools to explore, unite, and protect the galaxy on a scale no human had ever imagined. Kyle, the AI said, almost reverently, the known universe is now within your reach. You may establish order, solve crises, and lead civilizations without combat. Your species will be recognized for its ingenuity. Kale stood, staring at the endless stars. He had never sought conquest for the sake of power, but humans had always dreamed of possibilities beyond limits. And now, with the Elysium, he could make that dream a reality. The first order of business was simple: exploration and stabilization. Kale plotted courses to systems marked on the core map: abandoned colonies, resource-rich planets, and civilizations struggling with technological stagnation. The Elysium moved like a ghost, a ship older than most species, piloted by a human who had never lost curiosity. At each system, KL demonstrated what humans could do. On a planet suffering from energy shortages, he installed ancient energy converters that powered entire cities. On another, he repaired orbiting stations, restoring them to service after centuries of neglect. Humans were not conquerors. They were problem solvers. And the galaxy began to notice. Alien leaders sent envoys, first cautiously, then with genuine interest. They wanted to learn from Kale to understand the methods humans employed. They saw that humans could adapt in ways no other species could, using creativity where others relied on brute force. Slowly, civilizations began forming alliances under human guidance, not through fear, but respect. But Kale's influence wasn't just technological. His actions set examples. When disputes arose, he mediated solutions, balancing resources and preventing wars. When natural disasters threatened planets, he devised plans using the Elysium systems to save millions. Humans were proving that leadership was not about domination. It was about intelligence, foresight, and care. Weeks turned into months, and Kale's legend spread. He was the engineer who commanded an ancient warship, the human who could stabilize systems without a fight, the one who united scattered civilizations through wisdom rather than weapons. Then, one final challenge arrived from the creators themselves, a test of vision. They showed Kale a simulation of the known universe, its civilizations fragmented and weak from centuries of neglect. The question was simple yet profound. Could a single species guide this galaxy toward stability without imposing tyranny? Kale examined the simulation. He thought of humans, their ingenuity, adaptability, and empathy.
He thought of the civilizations he had helped.
And he realized the answer was not to dominate, but to inspire, to teach, and to unite. With the Elysium's core map, he created networks of trade, knowledge exchange, and mutual defense. Planets shared resources, civilizations collaborated on energy and research, and old conflicts faded as new opportunities emerged. Humans led, but not through fear. They led through intelligence and creativity. "You have completed all challenges, Kale," the AI said. "The creators recognize your success. Humans are now acknowledged as a species capable of shaping the known universe." Kale smiled, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. He had started as a lone engineer, laughed at by the galaxy, with nothing but his mind and a $5 warship. Now, he had changed the perception of his entire species. Humans were no longer insignificant. They were capable, inventive, and deserving of respect. He stood on the bridge, staring out at the stars. The Elysium hummed beneath him, alive and powerful, ready for the next journey. He had conquered the known universe, not through destruction, not through war, but through human creativity, intelligence, and determination. And the galaxy had learned something new. Humans were a species to be admired, respected, and never underestimated. Kale exhaled, feeling the thrill of victory mixed with excitement for what lay ahead. The stars awaited, full of challenges and opportunities. With the Elysium, he could explore, solve, and inspire endlessly. "Ready for the next system?" he asked the AI.
"Always," it replied.
They all laughed softly, the sound full of joy and anticipation. "Then let's see how far humans can really go." And with that, the Elysium leapt into the next wormhole, carrying its human pilot toward new adventures, new discoveries, and a future where the known universe would never underestimate humanity again. The galaxy had been conquered, not by force, but by the brilliance of a single human mind. And the story of Kale and his $5 warship would echo across the stars for millennia. The known universe was no longer a collection of disconnected civilizations. It was united under human ingenuity, guided by a species that had always believed in problem-solving, adaptability, and hope.
Kale smiled.
This was just the beginning.